The massive alien warship appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning. It simply blinked into existence above Earth's atmosphere, its dark metal hull blocking out the sun over much of North America. The ship was so large that people in New York could look up and see the same section of hull as people in Chicago. In the United Nations Emergency Command Center, Commander James Stone stared at the massive display screen, his coffee cup frozen halfway to his mouth. Around him, dozens of military officers and civilian officials rushed about, their voices mixing into a steady roar of controlled panic. "Sir," his aide Tom rushed up, tablet in hand. "We're receiving a transmission from the vessel." Stone placed his coffee down carefully. After 20 years in diplomatic service, he had imagined first contact countless times. None of his scenarios had involved a ship large enough to cast a shadow over half a continent. "Put them through," he ordered, straightening his uniform. The main screen flickered, and Stone found himself looking at what appeared to be an insect crossed with a praying mantis, if that insect wore elaborate military decorations. The alien's compound eyes gleamed with an unsettling intelligence. "People of Earth," the creature's mandibles clicked as it spoke, its words translated by computer into English with only a slight delay. "I am High Marshal of the Galactic Federation. Your planet has been chosen for integration into our empire. Resist, and we will be forced to unleash our most fearsome weapon." Stone kept his face neutral, even as his mind raced. The UN had protocols for first contact, but none of them covered immediate threats of war. "High Marshal," he said carefully, "I am Commander Stone, Earth's designated representative. We welcome peaceful contact with other civilizations, but threats are not the best way to begin our relationship." The alien's antennae twitched. "You mistake this for a negotiation, Commander. It is not. We have studied your world. You are a fractious, violent species who has barely reached your own moon. You will submit, or we will demonstrate why our empire spans 300 worlds." Around the command center, people watched in tense silence. Military officers quietly updated missile defense systems, while intelligence analysts frantically tried to scan the alien vessel for weaknesses. "Perhaps," Stone suggested, "we could discuss this like reasonable beings. Earth has much to offer through peaceful exchange." The High Marshal's mandibles clattered in what the humans would later learn was laughter. "You still don't understand your position. Very well. A demonstration is in order." The alien turned to someone off-screen. "Bring forth the beast." Stone felt his stomach tighten. In his experience, anything an advanced alien civilization called the beast was probably bad news. He gestured quietly to activate global defense systems. Within 1 hour, the High Marshal announced, "We will transport the beast to your UN building." Its mere presence has broken the will of dozens of civilizations. When you witness its power, you will understand the futility of resistance. The transmission cut off, leaving the command center in silence. "Options?" Stone asked the room. General Roberts stepped forward. "Our missile systems are ready, sir, but against a ship that size." He shrugged helplessly. "And we don't know what this beast is capable of," added Dr. Wilson, the chief xenobiologist. "It could be anything from a virus to a planet killer." Stone nodded grimly. "Whatever it is, we need to be ready. Alert all Special Forces units. Get me our best containment specialists. And someone find me everything we have on insectoid psychology. There might be something we can use." The next 58 minutes passed in a blur of preparation. The UN building was evacuated except for essential personnel. Special Forces teams took up hidden positions. Scientists stood ready with every type of sensor available to human technology. Stone stood at the window of his office, looking up at the alien ship that still blotted out the sky. In less than 2 minutes, they would face whatever horror these aliens considered their ultimate weapon. He thought of humanity's long history of facing seemingly impossible odds. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. The High Marshal's voice boomed through the building. "Prepare yourselves, humans. The beast arrives." A beam of light appeared in the center of the UN's main hall. Stone took a deep breath, squared his shoulders, and went to face humanity's first real test among the stars. The beam of light in the UN's main hall grew brighter, forcing Commander Stone and the others to shield their eyes. Special Forces teams tightened their grips on their weapons. Scientists held their breath, instruments ready to detect any kind of threat. When the light faded, Stone blinked to clear his vision. Then he blinked again, sure that he must be seeing things wrong. Sitting in the middle of the hall, wagging its tail, was what looked almost exactly like a golden retriever puppy. It had the same floppy ears and soft golden fur, though its paws glowed with a slight blue tinge, and its eyes were a deeper purple color than any earth dog. The puppy looked around the room, tongue lolling out happily, then let out a small woof. Several of the Special Forces soldiers lowered their weapons in confusion. Dr. Wilson dropped her sensor equipment. "Behold," the High Marshal's voice boomed through the hall. "Tremble before the beast of Sector 7, the most feared creature in 3 galaxies." The puppy heard the voice and excitedly chased its own tail, spinning in circles. Stone coughed, trying desperately to maintain his diplomatic composure. "High Marshal," he said carefully, "could you elaborate on the beast's fearsome qualities?" The alien commander's image appeared on the large screen, mandibles clicking with pride. "Observe its powerful sound-based attack." The puppy barked playfully, then flopped onto its back, paws waving in the air. "See how it displays its battle stance," the High Marshal declared. "Note the fearsome exposure of its soft underbelly, a sign of supreme confidence in its combat abilities." Tom, Stone's young aide, couldn't contain himself anymore. He walked over to the puppy and knelt down. "Who's a good boy? Are you a good boy?" he cooed, scratching behind the creature's ears. "No," screamed the High Marshal. "Your warrior shows suicidal bravery. The beast's neural tentacles will. The alien commander trailed off as the puppy rolled over and licked Tom's face, tail wagging even faster. "Most interesting," Stone managed to say, his voice only slightly strained from holding back laughter. "High Marshal, I believe there may be some cultural differences we should discuss." "Impossible," the alien leader chittered. "The beast species helped us conquer the crystal beings of Rigel. Their mere presence caused the Silicon warriors of Ta City to surrender." Dr. Wilson stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her amusement. "Sir, if I may, I believe I understand. The High Marshal's species appears to have evolved from insectoid creatures. To them, mammals would appear utterly alien and potentially terrifying." Stone nodded thoughtfully. "Like how many humans find insects unsettling, but on a cultural scale." The puppy had now rolled onto its back again, and Tom was giving it belly rubs. The creature's back leg thumped against the floor in pure joy. "Observe," the High Marshal declared, though with slightly less confidence. "The beast performs its victory drumming. Surely now you understand the futility of resistance." Stone walked over and knelt beside the puppy, which immediately tried to climb into his lap. "High Marshal, I believe it's time we showed you something about Earth's history with, beasts like this one." He gestured to Tom, who pulled up images on the main screen. Families playing with dogs in parks, police officers working with their canine partners, therapy dogs in hospitals, and search and rescue dogs helping survivors. The High Marshal's compound eyes widened with each image. This is not possible. You allow these creatures into your dwellings, near your young." "Not only that," Stone said, now openly scratching the alien puppy's belly. "We've been breeding them as companions for thousands of years. They're considered part of our families." The massive alien warship actually moved slightly, as if its commander had staggered backward in shock. You breed them." The High Marshal's voice was barely a whisper. "On purpose." The puppy chose that moment to curl up in Stone's lap and fall asleep, making tiny snoring sounds. Stone looked up at the screen, allowing himself a small smile. "High Marshal, I believe it's time we had a serious discussion about our species' different perspectives. But first, would you like to know how to play fetch? 3 hours after the puppy's arrival, the UN main hall had turned into something that looked suspiciously like a dog training session. Commander Stone sat in a chair, watching with amusement as Tom taught the alien puppy to shake hands. Remarkable, the High Marshal's voice came through the speakers. The alien leader hadn't stopped watching since Stone had explained the concept of pet toys. And this tennis ball ritual, it serves what military purpose? None at all, Stone replied, tossing a bright yellow ball across the room. The puppy bounded after it, purple eyes glowing with joy. It's just fun, for both the dog and us. The alien creature brought the ball back, dropping it at Stone's feet with a proud woof. But the High Marshal's antennae twitched in confusion. Our reports clearly showed this species destroying the defenses of the Silicon armies. Their sound-based attacks shattered crystal warriors. Dr. Wilson, who had been taking notes on her tablet, looked up. High Marshal, might those Silicon beings have been using something that sounded like dog whistles? High-frequency sounds. Yes, the alien commander clicked excitedly. The defenders used sonic weaponry. And then these beasts. He trailed off as understanding dawned. They were playing. When they charged the crystal forces. They probably thought it was a game, Tom said, now teaching the puppy to sit. Dogs are like that. They can turn almost anything into playtime. A new voice cut in. Another alien official who had joined the observation. High Marshal, we're receiving strange reports from the ship. Multiple crew members are requesting information about these tennis balls and something called treats. Stone tried not to smile as he heard the High Marshal's frustrated click. Several junior alien officers have been quietly asking about dog training techniques for the past hour. This cannot be happening, the High Marshal muttered. Our ultimate weapon is learning to roll over. As if on cue, the puppy demonstrated its newest trick, rolling across the floor before bouncing up with an expectant look. Tom rewarded it with a treat. Sir, one of the alien officers spoke up. Should we inform High Command that the humans appear to be experts in beast taming? The High Marshal was silent for a long moment. On the main screen, they could see him pacing, his armored exoskeleton clicking against the ship's floor. What else can these creatures do? He finally asked. Stone nodded to Dr. Wilson, who brought up more images on the screen. They help us find lost people, she explained, showing search and rescue dogs. They guide humans who can't see. They comfort sick children in hospitals. Some can even detect diseases or warn people about upcoming seizures. Medical applications. The High Marshal's tone changed from confused to intrigued. They can detect illness. That's right, Stone said, watching as the puppy now tried to make friends with a potted plant. Dogs have been helping humans for thousands of years. We've evolved together, in a way. They're not weapons. They're partners. Another alien officer appeared on screen, looking nervous. High Marshal, the crew is requesting permission to observe these training techniques firsthand. For tactical purposes, of course. Stone could have sworn he saw the High Marshal roll all of his compound eyes at once. Tell me, Commander Stone, the alien leader said slowly, if I were to allow some of my junior officers to study these tactical partnerships, would that be acceptable? Stone picked up the puppy, which immediately tried to lick his face. I think we could arrange some cultural exchange sessions. In fact, I know several dog trainers who would be delighted to help. For military purposes only, of course, the High Marshal added quickly. Of course, Stone agreed, scratching the puppy's glowing blue paws. Though you might want to warn your crew about something we call puppy eyes. They're more powerful than any weapon we've encountered. As if understanding, the puppy turned to the screen and gave the High Marshal its best pleading look. Several alien officers could be heard making sounds that seemed suspiciously like awed in the background. The High Marshal's antennae drooped in defeat. Perhaps, he said, We should discuss terms for a more peaceful integration into the galaxy. The puppy barked happily, and somewhere in the background, an alien officer could be heard asking if anyone knew where to find a squeaky toy. The next morning, Commander Stone arrived at the UN building to find a peculiar scene. A group of alien junior officers, each wearing their formal battle armor, sat cross-legged on the floor while Tom explained the proper technique for giving belly rubs. "Remember," Tom said seriously, "each dog is different. Some like ear scratches more than belly rubs." The aliens were taking notes on their data pads with intense concentration. One of them raised a clawed hand. "But how do you know which is the correct tactical approach?" "The dog will let you know," Tom explained. "See how our friend here reacts." He demonstrated with the alien puppy, who flopped over immediately, tongue lolling out in happiness. The High Marshal's voice came through the speakers, sounding resigned. "Commander Stone, we need to talk." Stone looked up at the main screen, trying to keep a straight face. "Of course, High Marshal. How can I help?" "Our research teams have been analyzing your planet's data networks," the alien leader said. "We've discovered something disturbing." The screen split to show various images. Police dogs taking down criminals, military dogs in training, hunting dogs tracking prey. "Ah," Stone nodded. "You found our working partnerships with dogs." "Working partnerships?" The High Marshal's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Your species has created an army of beasts. You've turned our greatest weapon into helpers and friends," Stone finished. "Those dogs you saw, they save lives, protect people, and help us in countless ways." A new series of images appeared on screen. Guide dogs leading blind people, therapy dogs in hospitals, rescue dogs finding survivors in rubble. The High Marshal was silent for a long moment. "You really don't fear them at all, do you?" "Fear them?" Stone watched as the alien puppy tried to teach one of the junior officers how to play tug-of-war. "High Marshal, let me show you something." He gestured to Dr. Wilson, who brought up historical images on the screen. "Humans and dogs have been together for at least 15,000 years. They helped us hunt, protected our homes, kept us warm, and became part of our families. Some scientists think we might not have survived as a species without them." The alien officers watching the presentation gasped. One of them whispered, "They've been breeding super soldiers for 15 millennia." "Not soldiers," Stone corrected gently. "Friends, partners, family members." The High Marshal's antennae twitched thoughtfully. "And these family members, they'd willingly serve you." "Not serve, cooperate, work with us. Look." Stone pulled up videos of dogs playing with children, sleeping in beds, sharing meals with their families. "They choose to be with us because we take care of each other." One of the junior officers raised a hand. "Sir, High Command is demanding an update on the invasion status." A High Marshal made a sound that might have been a sigh. Tell them the humans have demonstrated unexpected capabilities in beast manipulation. We need to reassess our strategy." "Speaking of strategy," Stone said carefully, "I couldn't help but notice your crew seems quite interested in our beast manipulation techniques." Indeed, more alien officers had arrived while they were talking. They were now sitting in a circle, watching in fascination as Tom demonstrated how to play fetch. The High Marshal's compound eyes followed the tennis ball's arc across the room. "It is merely tactical research." "Of course," Stone agreed. "Though if you're interested in more tactical research, I should mention that Earth has many breeds of dogs, each with their own special capabilities." The alien commander's antennae perked up. "Different varieties of beasts." "Hundreds," Stone confirmed. "From tiny ones that fit in your pocket to large ones that can pull sleds across frozen wastelands, each one unique." The puppy, having retrieved the tennis ball, noticed the High Marshal watching and gave its best happy bark at the screen. Several alien officers automatically reached for their notepads to record this new sound-based greeting protocol. The High Marshal's mandibles worked silently for a moment. Finally, he said, "Commander Stone, perhaps we should discuss a cultural exchange program. For diplomatic purposes only, of course." "Of course," Stone agreed, hiding his smile as he watched the alien puppy teaching an entire squad of alien warriors how to play dead. "I'm sure we can arrange something suitable." Behind the High Marshal, another alien officer could be seen sneaking what looked suspiciously like a chew toy into the command center. 1 week after the arrival of the alien warship, Commander Stone found himself giving a tour of Central Park's dog run to the High Marshal himself. The alien leader had finally agreed to come down to Earth's surface, though he insisted on wearing his full ceremonial battle armor. "And these humans?" the High Marshal asked, watching a group of people walking their dogs. "They do this purely for recreation." "That's right," Stone said. "Dogs need exercise and social interaction. So do people, actually. It works out well for everyone." Their own alien puppy, now nicknamed Star by the UN staff, was running around with a group of Earth dogs. Its glowing blue paws and purple eyes didn't seem to bother the other dogs at all. "Fascinating," the High Marshal muttered, taking notes on his datapad. "And this dog park concept, it's a designated battle training ground. Just a place for dogs to play and make friends," Stone explained patiently, "like Star is doing now." The alien puppy was currently teaching a Labrador how to make its paws glow, while the poodle watched with interest. A small child walked up to the High Marshal, pointing at his armor. "Are you a space bug?" The alien leader's antennae twitched in alarm. Several of his guards raised their weapons, but Stone held up a hand. "This is part of the cultural exchange too," he said calmly. "Children are naturally curious." The High Marshal lowered himself to the child's level, his joints creaking. "I am the High Marshal of the Galactic Federation, commander of 1,000 ships, conqueror of—" He paused as the child's puppy bounded over and licked his faceplate. "Your beast seems friendly," the High Marshal said, trying to maintain his dignity while the puppy attempted to play with his antennae. "That's Buddy," the child said proudly. "He's teaching me responsibility." The alien commander looked at Stone. "Your young are trained by beasts." "In a way," Stone smiled. "Dogs help children learn about caring for others, being patient, and showing love. They're excellent teachers." The High Marshal stood back up, watching as more dogs came to investigate him. "On my world, we teach our young about conquest and battle strategy." "How's that working out?" Stone asked mildly. Before the alien could answer, Star came running back, followed by its new pack of Earth dog friends. The alien puppy had somehow acquired a frisbee and was showing the other dogs how to make it glow like its paws. "Sir," one of the alien guards approached, "we're receiving more requests from the crew. They want to know if there are kennels near the designated landing zones." The High Marshal's antennae drooped. "How many requests?" 342, sir. So far." Stone tried to hide his amusement. "You know, High Marshal, Earth has many animal shelters with dogs looking for good homes. If your crew is interested in tactical partnerships." "Tactical partnerships," the High Marshal repeated weakly, watching as Star and its new friends rolled in the grass. "Yes, for military purposes only, of course." "Of course," Stone agreed, "though you might want to update your ship's regulations about pets." "Pets," the alien leader said the word like it was from a foreign language. "Not beasts or weapons, but pets." A golden retriever chose that moment to bring the High Marshal a tennis ball, tail wagging hopefully. The alien commander stared at the ball, then at Stone, then at his guards who were trying very hard to look like they weren't interested. Finally, with all the dignity he could muster, the High Marshal picked up the tennis ball. "I suppose," he said carefully, "this could be considered a diplomatic exercise." He threw the ball, and immediately a dozen dogs, including Star, went racing after it. "You know," Stone said thoughtfully, watching the alien leader's antennae perk up as the dogs returned with the ball, "there are many planets in your Federation. Have you considered the diplomatic potential of a galaxy-wide adoption program? The High Marshal was quiet for a moment, watching the dogs play. One of his guards had already sneaked away to pet a nearby husky. "Commander Stone," he said finally, "I believe we need to schedule an emergency meeting with your pet care experts. For military strategic purposes, of course." "Of course," Stone agreed, as Star brought the glowing tennis ball back for another throw. "We wouldn't want this to seem like we're all just playing with dogs." The High Marshal threw the ball again, his mandibles clicking in what Stone now recognized as happiness. "No," he agreed. "That would be ridiculous." 2 weeks after the Central Park visit, the UN building had become an impromptu interstellar pet adoption center. Commander Stone watched from his office as alien officers lined up outside the newly established Tactical Beast Integration Unit, which was really just a makeshift dog shelter run by local rescue organizations. "Sir," Tom entered, carrying a stack of papers. "You might want to see these reports." Stone took the papers, smiling as he read. Across the globe, alien crew members were visiting animal shelters. Every major city with an alien landing zone had reported similar scenes, insectoid warriors getting emotional over rescue puppies. The High Marshal's face appeared on the office screen. "Commander Stone, we have a situation." "Problems with the adoption program?" Stone asked. "No. Well, yes, but not what you think." The alien leader's antennae twitched nervously. "My crew members are requesting permission to adopt other Earth creatures. Cats, rabbits, hamsters. One officer even asked about something called a ferret." Stone tried not to laugh. "I see. And this concerns you. They're supposed to be fearsome warriors." The High Marshal clicked his mandibles in frustration. "Yesterday, I found my chief tactical officer watching something called cute puppy videos on your internet." "That reminds me," Stone said. "Dr. Wilson has prepared a report on Earth's history with domesticated animals. You might find it interesting." Dr. Wilson entered right on cue, her tablet displaying images of various pets. "High Marshal, humans have a long history of bonding with different species. Dogs were just the beginning." The alien leader watched as she showed pictures of cats lounging in sunbeams, rabbits hopping in gardens, and hamsters running in wheels. "Fascinating," he muttered. "And all these creatures, they voluntarily cohabitate with humans." "More than that," Wilson explained. "They become family members. Different species offer different types of companionship. Cats are independent but affectionate. Rabbits are gentle and social. Hamsters are playful and entertaining." "Sir," an alien officer burst onto the High Marshal's screen. "The humans have something called kitten therapy. They use tiny feline creatures to reduce stress." The High Marshal sighed. "Thank you, Lieutenant. I'm sure that's very tactical information." Stone decided to press his advantage. "You know, High Marshal, Earth's animal companions have helped us understand something important. Different doesn't mean dangerous. Sometimes the most unlikely combinations create the strongest bonds." The alien leader was quiet for a moment, watching through the office window as one of his warriors learned how to brush a long-haired cat. "When we first came to Earth," he said slowly, "we thought our beast would terrify you. Instead, you showed us that what we feared could be a source of joy." His compound eyes turned to Stone. "Perhaps there's a lesson there." "Several lessons," Stone agreed, "about understanding, acceptance, and not judging by appearances." "Sir," Tom interrupted gently, "the first graduation class from the pet training program is ready." They all moved to the main hall, where 20 alien officers stood proudly with their newly adopted dogs. Star, the original alien puppy, sat at the front, now wearing a little graduation cap. "Commander Stone," the High Marshal said as they watched the ceremony, "our Federation has always expanded through force. But this," he gestured at the happy scene before them, "this is something new." "A different kind of integration," Stone suggested. "Yes," the alien leader's antennae moved thoughtfully. "Perhaps it's time we tried a new approach, one based on understanding rather than fear." Just then, a small kitten wandered into the hall, having escaped from the adoption area. The assembled alien warriors immediately forgot their military bearing, making soft clicking sounds of delight. Though the High Marshal added quickly, we should probably keep this particular cultural exchange quiet from some of the more traditional Federation members. Of course, Stone agreed, watching as Star taught its alien graduation class how to play with cat toys. We wouldn't want anyone to think the mighty Galactic Federation had gone soft. Exactly, the High Marshal said, just as one of his highest-ranking officers rolled over on the floor to let a puppy climb on his armored chest. Stone smiled. High Marshal, I believe this might be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Friendship? The alien leader watched his troops playing with their new pets. No, Commander Stone. I believe this might be the beginning of a family. Above them, the massive warship that had once come to conquer Earth now had a new addition, a dog park in its main recreation deck. 1 month after the failed invasion attempt, the UN building hosted the most unusual peace treaty signing in human history. Commander Stone stood at the podium, trying to maintain his professional composure despite the unique honor guard lining the aisle. A row of dogs on one side, and their alien handlers on the other. Star, the original alien puppy, now wore a special diplomatic collar with both UN and Galactic Federation symbols. It sat proudly beside the High Marshal, who had finally admitted that his battle armor had been modified to include hidden treat pockets. Today, Stone addressed the gathered crowd of humans and aliens. We celebrate not just peace between our peoples, but a completely new understanding of what peace can mean. The High Marshal stepped forward, his antennae moving in what everyone now recognized as happiness. When we came to Earth, we thought we were bringing our most fearsome weapon. Instead, we found teachers who showed us a better way. In the audience, hundreds of alien crew members sat with their newly adopted pets. There were dogs of every breed, cats lounging on armored shoulders, and even a few rabbits sitting in specially designed carriers. One high-ranking officer was quietly slipping treats to a ferret hidden in his ceremonial cape. The Galactic Federation, the High Marshal continued, has always measured strength in terms of weapons and conquest. But Earth has taught us that true strength can come from gentleness, and true power from understanding. As if on cue, Star trotted over to a group of Earth puppies who had been brought in for the ceremony. They immediately started playing, their joyful barks echoing through the hall. Therefore, the High Marshal clicked his mandibles formally. I proposed the establishment of the Interstellar Pet Adoption Program, or IPAP. Earth will serve as the center for this initiative, helping species across the galaxy discover the joy of animal companionship. Stone nodded. Earth accepts this role. Our animal shelter networks are already preparing for galactic expansion. Dr. Wilson, now appointed as the chief cynobiologist for IPAP, stepped forward with her tablet. We've already received adoption requests from 12 different species in the Federation. Apparently, word about Earth's pets has spread quickly. Very quickly, the High Marshal agreed, watching as one of his warriors demonstrated to a group of alien visitors how to play tug-of-war. Though we're still calling it tactical bonding training in official reports. The ceremony continued with the traditional signing of treaties, though with one unusual addition. Both Star and several Earth dogs added their paw prints to the documents. Stone noticed that even the most serious diplomatic observers couldn't help smiling at that. Sir, Tom whispered to Stone, you might want to see this. He handed over his tablet, showing news feeds from across the Federation. Everywhere alien ships had returned, they had brought Earth pets with them. The trend was spreading like wildfire. In just 1 month, Tom said, we've gone from facing invasion to becoming the most popular planet in the Federation. All because they tried to scare us with a puppy. Stone watched as the High Marshal attempted to maintain his dignity, while a kitten played with his antennae. Sometimes the best weapon is kindness, he replied. The ceremony concluded with an unexpected moment. The High Marshal raised all 4 of his arms for silence, then made a historic announcement. As my first act under the new treaty, he declared, I am officially adopting Star as my personal companion. No longer a weapon, but a friend and family member." He paused, then added quickly, "For diplomatic purposes, of course." "Of course," everyone agreed, politely ignoring the treats falling from his armor's hidden pockets. As the celebration began, Stone looked around the hall. Humans were teaching aliens how to brush their pets. Alien warriors were showing off their dogs' new tricks. In one corner, a group of Federation scientists was in deep discussion with Earth veterinarians about extending pet lifespans. "You know," the High Marshal said, joining Stone as Star played with its new Federation collar, "in all our years of conquest, we never considered that the most powerful force in the galaxy might be love." Stone watched as an alien child, visiting with its warrior parents, learned how to gentle pet a small dog. The child's antennae glowed with joy. "Welcome to the family," Stone said simply. Above them, the massive alien warship had been repainted. Where it once bore symbols of conquest, it now showed a new design, a human hand and an alien claw joined together by a paw print. The universe would never be the same, and all because of one small purple-eyed puppy who taught everyone that sometimes the fiercest beast can turn out to be the best friend.